Hi, everyone. This is the Encyclopedia channel. In this section, let's talk about why humans spend a lot of manpower, material resources, and financial resources to explore the universe. In 1970, Zambian nun Mary Jucunda wrote a letter to Dr. Ernst Stuhlinger, who became Associate Director for Science at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center for his original research in the Journey to Mars project. In the letter, Sister Mary Jucunda asked, how could he be willing to spend billions of dollars on a project as far away as Mars when there are so many children on Earth who are not able to eat? Stuhlinger quickly wrote back to Sister Jucunda, along with a photo entitled Earth Rising, the iconic photo taken by astronaut William Anders in 1968 while orbiting the Moon. Pictured the surface of the Moon can be seen. His sincere reply was subsequently published by NASA under the title Why Explore the Universe? The letter reads, Dear Sister Mary Jucunda, every day, I receive many similar letters, but this one touches me the most because it comes from a compassionate, searching heart. I'll do my best to answer your question. First, allow me to express my deep respect for you and your brave sisters who have dedicated themselves to the noblest cause of humankind, helping fellow human beings in need. In your letter, you asked me why I would spend billions of dollars on a voyage to Mars when there are children on Earth dying of starvation. I know you don't want an answer like, oh, I didn't know there were kids starving to death. Well, from now on, suspend all space programs until the kids are fed. In fact, I knew something about child famine long before humans were technologically capable of imagining a trip to Mars. And, like many of my friends, I think this is the time to start our great expeditions to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. In the long run, I even think that the project of exploring space will be more helpful to solve the problem of human beings than the various aid programs that are only debated and bickered for years, or even compromised. Current crises. Before going into detail about how our space program is helping to solve crises on the ground, I want to briefly tell a true story. That was 400 years ago. There was a count in a small town in Germany. He was a kind man, and he gave a large part of his income to the poor of the town. This is very admirable, because in the Middle Ages there were many poor people, and there were frequent outbreaks of plague that swept the country. One day, the count met a strange man. He had a workbench and a small laboratory in his home. He worked hard during the day and devoted himself to research for a few hours every night. He grinds small pieces of glass into lenses, and then puts the ground lenses into lens barrels to observe small objects. The Count was fascinated by this unprecedented gizmo that could zoom in on things. He invited the eccentric to live in his castle as the Earl's resident, and he could devote all his time thereafter to the study of these optics. However, the townspeople were very angry when they learned that the Count had spent money on such a queer man and his useless gadgets. We are still suffering from the plague, they complained, and he spends money on that idler and his useless hobby. The Count was unmoved. I'm going to help people as much as I can, he said, but I'm going to continue to support this man and his work, and I'm sure it will pay off someday. Sure enough, his work and the efforts of others at the same time paid off handsomely. The microscope. The invention of the microscope led to unprecedented advances in medicine, and the resulting research and results eliminated plague and other infectious diseases that ravaged much of the world. The money spent by the Earl in support of this research invention, the end result of which has greatly alleviated the suffering of human beings, is far more rewarding than simply using the money to relieve those suffering from the plague. We are currently facing a similar issue. The President of the United States has a total annual budget of $200 billion, which will be used for medical care, education, welfare, urban construction, highways, transportation, overseas aid, national defense, environmental protection, science and technology, agriculture, and many other domestic and foreign projects. This year, 1.6% of the budget will go to space exploration, which will go to the Apollo program, and other small projects covering astrophysics, deep space astronomy, space biology, planetary exploration projects, and Earth resources projects. And space engineering technology. To afford these space projects, an average American taxpayer with an annual income of $10,000 needs to pay about $30 for space, and the remaining $9,970 can be used for general living expenses, entertainment, savings, other taxes, etc. Pin. Maybe you're asking, why not take $5 or $3 or $1 out of the $30 taxpayers pay for space and feed starving children? In order to answer that question, I need to briefly explain our country's economy. How it works is similar to other countries. The government is made up of several departments, for example, Interior, Justice, Health and Welfare, Education, Transportation, Defense, etc., and several agencies, National Science Foundation, NASA, etc., which the government and agencies formulate corresponding annual budgets according to their functions, and strictly implement them to cope with the supervision of the State Council, and at the same time, they must also deal with the pressure from the Budget Department and the President on their economic efficiency. When funds are finally appropriated by Congress, they will be used strictly for planned projects approved by the budget. Obviously, NASA's budget includes items related to aerospace. Budget items not approved by Congress are not funded and, of course, not taxed unless they are covered by another agency's budget, thereby spending money not allocated to space programs. From this brief description, we can see that in order to aid hungry children or increase the amount of aid to the existing foreign aid programs in the United States, the relevant departments need to first propose a budget, and then Congress must approve it. If you want to ask whether you agree with the government to implement similar policies, my personal opinion is absolutely in favor. I don't mind at all paying a little extra tax dollars every year to help hungry children no matter where they are. I'm sure my friends will have the same attitude. However, things don't come easily by simply canceling the voyage to Mars. On the contrary, I even think that the space program can contribute to alleviating and eventually solving the problems of poverty and hunger on Earth. There are two key components to solving the hunger problem: food production and food distribution. Food production involves agriculture, animal husbandry, fishing, and other large-scale production activities that are highly productive in some parts of the world and severely underproduced in others. Through high-tech means, such as irrigation management, fertilizer use, weather forecast, yield assessment, programmed planting, farmland optimization, crop habit and tillage time selection, crop survey and harvest planning, the productivity of the land can be significantly improved. Sputnik is undoubtedly the most powerful tool for improving these two critical issues. In an orbit far away from the ground, the satellite can scan a large area of land in a short period of time, and can simultaneously observe and calculate multiple indicators required for crop growth, such as soil, drought, rain and snow, etc., and can broadcast this information to a ground receiving station for further processing. It turns out that even the simplest models of satellite systems equipped with land resource sensors and corresponding agricultural programs can bring billions of dollars in annual crop yield improvements. How to distribute food to those in need is another brand new problem. The key is not the capacity of the ship, but international cooperation. The rulers of small countries were troubled by the importation of large quantities of food from large countries, and they feared that with it came foreign powers to influence their dominance. I am afraid that the problem of hunger cannot be effectively solved until the barriers between countries are eliminated. I don't think the space program can do miracles overnight. However, exploring the universe can help move things in a good direction. Take the recent Apollo 13 accident, for example. To keep communications open during the critical atmospheric re-entry period for the astronauts, the Soviet Union shut down all broadcast communications within the Soviet Union on the same frequency band used by the Apollo spacecraft. At the same time, ships were sent to the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean to prepare for the first search and rescue work. If the astronauts' rescue capsule lands near the Russian ship, Russian personnel will rescue them just like their own astronauts returning from space. Similarly, if the Russian spacecraft encounters a similar emergency, the United States will definitely provide assistance without hesitation. Improving food production through monitoring and analysis by satellites and improving the efficiency of food distribution through improved international relations are just two of the ways in which the space program can improve the quality of human life. Next, I would like to introduce two other important roles: promoting the development of science and technology and improving the scientific literacy of a generation. Projecting the moon landing required a level of precision and reliability never before seen in history. Faced with such stringent requirements, we need to find new materials and new methods, develop better engineering systems, use more reliable manufacturing processes, make instruments last longer, and even explore new laws of nature. These new technologies invented for the moon landing can also be used for engineering projects on the ground. Every year, about 1,000 new technologies developed from the space program are used in everyday life, resulting in better kitchen appliances and farm equipment, better sewing machines and radios, better ships and airplanes, more accurate weather forecasts and storm warnings, better communication facilities, better medical equipment, and even better everyday gadgets. You may ask, why first design the life support system of the astronaut lunar module instead of creating remote sign monitoring equipment for heart patients? The answer is simple. When solving engineering problems, important technological breakthroughs are often not directly obtained step by step, but come from the ability to stimulate a strong innovative spirit, ignite imagination and firm action, and integrate all resources. Challenging goals. Space travel is undoubtedly a challenging business. A voyage to Mars won't directly provide food to solve the famine problem. However, it brings with it a wealth of new technologies and approaches that can be used beyond the Mars program, yielding benefits many times the original cost. If we want human beings to live better and better, in addition to new technologies, we also need continuous new progress in basic science, including physics and chemistry, biology and physiology, especially medicine, which is used to look after human health and deal with problems such as hunger, disease, food and water pollution, and environmental pollution. We need more young people to devote themselves to scientific careers, and we need to give more help to talented scientists who devote themselves to scientific research. There must be challenging research projects at any time, and at the same time, sufficient resource support should be guaranteed for the projects. Here I would like to reiterate that the space program is a catalyst for scientific and technological progress, providing excellent and practical opportunities for academic research work, including the study of the moon and other planets, physics and astronomy, biology and medical sciences, etc. For it, exciting research topics are constantly appearing in the scientific community, and human beings can get a glimpse of the incomparably magnificent scene of the universe. For it, new technologies and new methods are constantly emerging. Of all the activities controlled and funded by the U.S. government, the space program is undoubtedly the most high-profile and controversial, even though it accounts for only 1.6% of the total budget, less than 0.03% of the gross national product. As the driver and catalyst of new technologies, the space program has carried out many basic scientific researches, and its status is destined to be different from other activities. In a sense, the impact of the space project on society is equivalent to the war activities 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. If countries no longer compete with bombers and long-range missiles, but instead compete with each other on the performance of lunar spacecraft, how many wars and chaos will be avoided? The wise winner will be full of hope, and the loser will not have to suffer, no longer plant the seeds of hatred, no longer bring about wars of revenge. Although our space programs study things that are far away from the Earth, and have extended human vision to the moon, the sun, the planets, and even the distant stars, astronomers pay more attention to the Earth than all the above objects. The space project brings not only the improvement of the quality of life provided by those new technologies, but with the deepening of the study of the universe, our gratitude to the Earth, life, and human beings will become deeper. Space exploration makes the planet a better place. Sent with this letter is a picture of Earth taken by Apollo 8 in orbit around the Moon on Christmas Day 1968. Of all the things the space program has to offer, this image is perhaps the most valuable. It broadens the horizons of human beings and makes us feel so intuitively that the Earth is such a beautiful and precious isolated island in the vast universe. At the same time, it makes us realize that the Earth is our only home, and leaving the Earth is a barren and cold outer space. No matter how limited people's understanding of the Earth was before this, and how insufficient their understanding of the serious consequences of destroying the ecological balance was. After the publication of this photo, in the face of various severe situations that human beings are currently facing, such as environmental pollution, hunger, poverty, overurbanization, food problems, water resource problems, population problems, etc., we call on everyone to face up to these serious problems. There are more and more voices. The sudden concern people have about their own problems cannot be said to have nothing to do with these nascent space exploration projects currently underway, and the new perspectives it brings on our own homeland. Space exploration not only provides humans with a mirror to look at themselves, but also brings us new technologies, new challenges and enterprising spirit, as well as an optimistic and confident attitude in the face of severe practical problems. I believe that what mankind has learned from the universe exemplifies Albert Schweitzer's famous quote, "I look to the future with anxiety, but with good hope." My sincerest respect for you and your children. Yours sincerely, Ernst Stuhlinger, Deputy Director of Science. May 6, 1970. Okay, I've finished reading the letter. The exploration of space and space is a complex project, which is of great significance to human beings. What changes do you think the space exploration of space will bring us? You are welcome to leave a message in the comment area and discuss with everyone.